Good evening everyone, welcome to Tom Plays Civilization 6 for absolute beginners. We're just at the game loading screen, so we're just going to go straight into a default game and play Civilization Roulette, see who we get. Okay, interesting, the Greek Empire. Leader you've got. Okay, so surrounded by glory. Culture per city-state you're suzerain of. Now this works quite well for me because, for one thing, I do quite like the culture victories. There are 4 ways to win the game, so this is generally how you choose how you're. I quite like being suzerain of city-states, tend to help you in wars. So we will cover that later. Plato's Republic, 1 extra wildcard policy slot, that's very useful. In fact, very useful for culture again. Hoplite, unique land unit, and the Acropolis, a unique district which looks like it's culture related. So I think we're heavily being pushed towards culture here. Okay, which suits me fine. So, this is where we start off. Starting screen, we've got the map. We've got a large amount of unknown world. You can move the map itself around by left clicking, dragging the mouse. And we've started with a couple of icons in the centre. We have a warrior unit, who you can select by clicking on the flag, and we have a settler unit. Now generally you want to settle as soon as possible. It might be worth moving if you can get to one of these spots with a little city icons where they reckon it's a good place to start, but this place we're in is excellent. We're next to a river, we're next to a mountain. You see all these little icons dotted around. These are special things that we can cultivate, so we've got a whole bunch of those. This is a great place for a city, so we should actually go down here to our settler. Bunch of things we can tell the settler to do, and just found the city. So there we go. We've founded the city of Athens. Okay, so what else? So we've got a warrior who, I mean, normally I would want to have a military unit protecting the city, but because all we have is one warrior, we need to explore. So you can see the boundaries of where the warrior can go, so I'm just going to send them to the outside. You can send them further, they'll just get a sort of multi-turn move. But you do have to be careful, you don't want to run them into something too dangerous. So just briefly, we will cover them again, but we've got another map here, various maps you can go for. We've got a couple of things we're working towards. Well, we haven't actually got to this one yet. This is science, this is culture. It's going to be very important for us. Up here we've got the levels of what we currently have in various attributes, and how much we're gaining per turn. And up here we've got the date, which turn we're on, 1 of 500, and we're in 4000 BC. World rankings, which will be important. There's a lot of things that gives information, but the most important bit is probably down here where we have our alerts. So there are often extra things around the side, but the main thing it's drawing your attention to. At the moment it wants us to build something. We're in no hurry here, this is a turn-based game. Okay, so a lot of civilization revolves around cities. They're obsessed with cities. It's all about what we build in our city, and having as many cities as possible, ideally. So we have one actual building we can build at the moment, which is a monument. We do definitely want these. They will give us culture. However, it's also very expensive, and we do need to explore the world around us, and we do need to settle new cities. So Slinger is a ranged unit, which I'll often build for defense. Warrior, we already have one, good for attack. Settlers we can't build because they cost a population slot, and we currently only have one. It would destroy our city if we could build it. A builder is what we use to cultivate these resources. So a builder would actually make a lot of sense because they can make our city much better. However, we do need some science before we can make use of these two. So probably not worth it just yet. So I would like to go for a scout so that we can explore further. There are great benefits to gain from exploration, so it's worth having at least one scout. So we're going to start with them, and then we've got the option to choose research. So, interesting thing with research, right at the start we have a few research items which you cannot easily gain boosts for, and 2 that do. Most of the way through we're going to have this option for boosts, which is basically half of the research we need to do can be boosted towards by fulfilling the condition down here. We want to fulfill these conditions wherever possible because it gives us a big advantage in gaining science. Even if we're not mostly going for a science victory, science is invaluable. We don't want to fall too behind in any of the 4 categories basically. So we would like to found a city on the coast, for which we need to find the coast, and we would like to find a natural wonder. You see how these early ones are dependent upon exploration. Okay, that you have to found a city for as well. But we also have 3 at the moment which can't be boosted. They only take 9 anyway, so they're only half the cost of these 2. And these are often worth picking based on the resources we have. So we have an option here. We've got some sheep, for which we need animal husbandry, and we also have stone, for which we need mining. I can see basically we've got both around. There's some out of the bounds of our city that we currently couldn't have. Don't have the option of irrigation yet, might need pottery for that. So I think I would argue that we should probably go with animal husbandry to start with, simply because we have 3 sheep nearby. But we'll probably go for both of those first, unless we get a big boost. Okay, so that's actually the turn over. That's everything we can do. So we just choose a next turn, and then all our opponents, who we currently can't see, they will appear up here. This is us, Pericles. They will also be making their moves in their own turns. But to start with, there isn't a huge amount to do. We've got 1 unit which can explore. Okay, city-state neighbours. Okay, so this is not another player over here. This is a city-state. They behave exactly like a player, but they will never found new cities. So this city is all there is ever going to be. They can, however, be quite powerful because they will spend all of their resources on developing this one city. They also tend to request things of us. So that's this little thing here. They want us to train a galley, which is an early form of ship. What basically happens, if we click up here to look at our city-states, we have a certain number of envoys in a city-state at any one time. If we get enough envoys, we can become the suzerain, which gives us an awful lot of bonuses and also means they will join us in any battles. So they're quite useful, especially if you're not a military nation, to give you some extra protection against attack, because they will often be quite militaristic. Although Lisbon, being coloured yellow, I believe is primarily trade. We should also, in theory, gain bonuses for having an envoy. I think 1, 3 and 6 give other bonuses. So yeah, we've got +4 gold in the capital. We have 1 envoy there, I believe, because we discovered them first before anyone else. Not surprisingly, because they're right next door. But it would be well worth us becoming suzerain of them, because they're kind of watching our left border. Plus, if you remember, we gain a bonus, as the Greeks, for being suzerain of as many cities as possible. So we really do want to be suzerain. So you see we've got some new alerts telling us what's happened. We already know about it, but it does tell us about the bonus we received. A new envoy. So that's going to be our first task, is to become suzerain of Lisbon. Okay, we played a little tune there. Worth paying attention to the little tunes. What we've discovered here is a tribe. So this is a friendly tribe, and the first player to move into it gains some bonus. Very worth doing. You should make a beeline for them the second you discover them, every time. Everyone else will. You don't know what the bonus is going to be, but they're often very good, and you should get all the ones you can. Okay, so we've now got a scout. So this is partly what I'm thinking in terms of exploration, is discovering these. So we'll probably send the scout in the opposite direction, or at least in a completely different direction. so that we can explore the world as soon as possible. So now, of course, the city needs to start a new building. Okay, so in some cases I'd be tempted by the monuments because we want culture as soon as possible. In some cases I'd also be tempted by the slinger because that would allow us to defend the city while the warrior can carry on exploring and attacking barbarians, which is another way to gain bonuses. But because we have so many resources around us, I'm actually going to go for a builder this time, because that will give us big bonuses to the city and should pay off quite well. The builders can generally... Ooh, we just gained something. Okay, so the bonus we got from uncovering that tribal village, making it to it first, was a boost towards a culture, which is great. So these boosts that I was talking about with science, they also exist for culture, and you can, as well as getting them by fulfilling the condition listed, you can also get them through other events like this. So we have progress now towards military tradition. So we've got another little alert there for a civic boost. So that's a boost towards culture. The other wonderful thing that's happened is a barbarian scout has shown up. These can be quite dangerous because when they discover your city, they'll tell all their barbarian friends about it and there'll be an army along soon. We can gain, I think, a 50 gold bonus from defeating barbarians, and it will also give us boost towards certain sciences and cultures. So given they've come from the north, I may well send the warriors to the north next to see if we can find their city. But as a scout, we can even fight them with our own scout. So we have the scout selected, that's happened automatically. If we right click on the barbarian, we will attack them, and it's telling us down there that it will be a stalemate. But that's fine, because we'll get damaged, they'll get damaged, but it'll make them softer for when the warriors catch up with them. So we should still win overall, but we do want to repair our scout as soon as we can. So we're going to send the warriors up. Also discover some horses, which is good because that's another animal husbandry thing. So the scout, one of the options we have down here is fortify until healed. So we're just going to select that, and they should stay put and stay fortified, which gives them an advantage if someone attacks them, until their health has recovered. So it's often a good option if you get injured in any way. Military units especially also can gain bonuses for winning in combat or taking part in combat. Unfortunately, I think those scouts are escaping. Okay, we've successfully developed animal husbandry. Right, so I'm going to carry on north to find the barbarian city. But we have discovered another friendly tribe, so we'll get them first. The scout, I think, is almost recovered. We'll let them recover fully. Okay, so we need a new technology. So we've got a few more. Actually, only one more option. Kill a unit with a slinger. So we're not likely to get that boost anytime soon. So I think we should go for mining now, so that when our builder is finished, they can improve the stone as well. I'm hoping the barbarian scout is now heading away from us. Okay, so we've claimed the city. The bonus there, I don't know if you saw it, flashed up, is they've given us another scout, which is brilliant. So they can head in another direction. Should help us a lot with exploration. I may send this scout after that barbarian scout. Even though they're heading away from our city now, we are healed and they aren't, so we may be able to defeat them. And we've discovered a barbarian tribe. The question is, are we powerful enough to defeat them? They have spearmen. Fortunately, civilization is kind enough to tell you whether you are or not. So apparently it's going to be a stalemate, which is a worry. Okay, well, let's attack. I think when we discover Code of Laws, we will have an option to gain a bonus against barbarians, which will help, but we might want to fortify until healed next. At least if we're fortified, that should give us an advantage, I think. So you see here, although it's still a stalemate, because we had healed, they are far more damaged than we are. So if we carry on attacking them, we're likely to win. Okay, next turn. Whereas this is more of a concern. We've discovered a barbarian, well, we discovered a friendly tribe which we must get, but we've also discovered a barbarian encampment. You see here it now says major defeat. I think that's from this scout here, but from a scout we don't want to attack an encampment with a scout. Another scout, fine, but nothing else. Okay, so I'm going to tell these to fortify until healed. So if the barbarians attack us, they're fortified, so we should gain an advantage, and if not, we'll hopefully have Code of Laws soon, which should make all the difference. Okay, so this scout is now down to win a major victory, I think because we're healthier. And there we are, we've eliminated the barbarian scout. We did gain some experience of that, that was the XP. But scouts can actually gain XP just by exploring, they don't really need to attack people like warriors do. Okay, let's improve some sheep. So we've built a builder. Ooh, better run. Better run into there. Getting, I think it was a boost to science, and we have discovered Cleopatra and the Egyptians. So we're primarily going for culture. So we are definitely interested in being peaceful. So I'm going to be as friendly as I can. We will certainly visit. And we've gained a boost from meeting her. So we've gained a boost to rioting. We've also, from the village, gained a boost to the wheel, which is good. So we've actually met another scout, but I think we've visited their city, so we should know where it is now, which is great. So we need to get away from these barbarians. They're as much Cleopatra's problem as ours, but we also need to be aware that they're quite close to our city. So we must be careful. And okay, so we built the builder. The builder by default can improve 3 items. They can also repair things for free if someone damages them, but that's not an issue right now. It's actually represented by the 3 people, so 1 will disappear every time we make an improvement. So they're strictly a short-term unit. Okay, so we've got 2 options now. We do need defense, so a slinger would be very useful, but we also want as much culture as we can pull together. So it's whether we want to risk, and we also need cities. Problem. I think because of all these barbarians, we should go over slinger for now. Although we really need to build more cities, so I may even do that next. Okay, so see what Cleopatra does. We are amassing some money as well, which we should keep in mind. Apparently the barbarians are very keen to attack our scouts specifically. Okay, we're getting a new policy, which is good. So we have 2 options for each of these policies. At the moment, I'm thinking combat strength when fighting barbarians would be invaluable. Double experience for recon units would also be useful, but not as concerned. Okay, we've got 2 of these. It kind of depends on a couple of things. One is whether we care about faith. So are we going to found a religion? I usually would recommend doing so, because even if you don't want to win a religious victory, this allows you to defend against one. However, if you want to, a kind of bold choice, you can ignore religion completely, not worry about being converted to someone else's religion, and plough all your resources into non-religious things. However, the other question is, this one only provides benefits to the capital, this provides benefits to all cities. When you've only got 1 city, this kind of wins out. Plus I do on the religion. As the Greeks, we also have an extra wild card policy, and at the moment we can't use it, I don't think. Unless we can put an economic in there? Oh, we can! Excellent! +1 production in all cities. Okay. Let's go with that. That is fantastic. So builder first. You have 2 options generally with a builder on a resource. You can harvest the resource, which will remove the sheep and give you a one-time bonus, or you can develop it, which to me is usually much more valuable. So that's what I'm going to do. It's also given us a boost towards horseback riding because we made a pasture. Going to fortify until healed again with this scout. This scout I'm going to try to run away as quickly as possible. Really hoping they'll attack the Egyptian scout instead of us now. Oh, we discovered the code of laws, so we now need to choose a new civic. So we have two options: improve free tiles or discover a second continent. We are likely to get one of those boosts very soon. I think we'll probably get second continent first because we are exploring a lot. But improve free tiles is basically what we're going to do with the builder. The only thing that gives me pause is that at present our third option we don't have the technology for, which is what's putting me off going for that one. We could of course just build a farm on a regular piece of pasture, but I'd prefer not to do that. Okay, we've discovered a natural wonder, Galapagos Islands. So that should give us a boost to astrology, which is brilliant. Also, there are benefits, I believe, from having natural wonders near your cities for culture. So as someone who's going for culture, we could really do with getting a city here, which is going to be difficult because the Egyptians are right next door. So we'll have to see if that's actually possible. We have discovered mining. So that should allow us to do our second improvement. Also remember, we now have a bonus against barbarians, so we're now showing major victory. We should be able to defeat this camp now and gain a 50 gold bonus. With that in mind, let's just look at another thing, which is diplomacy. So up here we now have Cleopatra. If we click on her face, we're taken to the diplomacy screen. There are a lot of options here, but one which is useful if you're trying to be friendly with people is to send a delegation. These are replaced with embassies later, so it costs us some money, but I think it's worth doing if you're planning to try to be peaceful with people. There's also a lot of information about people here. This one here says that she will like us if we have a powerful military, so we may be in trouble, because I'm not planning to have a particularly powerful military. But there you go. Right, we're going to build a quarry, which again gives us more production. These guys have actually got a promotion, so rather than fortifying until healed, a promotion does tend to heal them. So we either have faster movement in woods and rainforests or faster movement on hills. Debatable. I'm going to go for hills, but very questionable which one you should go for. And we have to pick another science. So this one's interesting because we have a number of boosts now. Astrology would be good because it allows us to move towards a wonder. Masonry would allow us to build city walls. Sorry, not towards a wonder. It allows us to build, it does, but it also allows us to move towards forming our own religion. And the wheel is useful for water mills and also for the heavy chariots, which is good. I think because religion is kind of part of culture, we should go for astrology, plus it's the cheapest. So let's go for that next. But ideally you want to go for sciences and cultures that you've gained a boost towards or that you soon will. Okay, so he's actually fully healed now, so I'm going to carry on exploring because we want to discover another continent, if you remember, to gain a culture boost. Right, our builder. So the problem we've got now is that we can't develop cotton. What I am curious about, if I can select the city rather than the... There we go. Rather than the new slinger, is what we could do with this gold. 167. There's nothing we can instantly build right now. Oh, but that's actually because we already have these things. But to be fair, we're probably going to go for a settler or a monument next. Probably a settler. However, what we could do is purchase a tile. So if we purchase a tile with, say, a quarry in it, we can then send the builder to improve the quarry. Yeah, I think we should build a settler next. We really need more cities. And I think our slinger. Do we see a barbarian scout? Let's see if we can kill them with a slinger, because that will give us a bonus. And also it will kill the scout. They've got a little exclamation mark saying they've spotted Athens. So we can also expect a lot of barbarians to start coming down if we're not careful. So it's worth killing them soon anyway. Right, we also just gained a 50 bonus. Sorry, that's telling us that we've seen these barbarians. We gained a 50 gold bonus for wiping out that barbarian city, which is great. There's the Egyptian scout. And she has also sent us a delegation. So we're going to welcome them. It does mean she will know where our city is. But we can't really help that. Okay, I'm going to promote this warrior. So defense against ranged attacks or combat in general. Might go with combat. Hopefully that will heal them, and what I'm thinking is we'll bring them back to the city because they can defend the settler on their way to wherever they go. Ideally there, but we'll see. There will be other wonders. Slinger, brilliant. Now a slinger, you don't have to attack directly, you can also choose a ranged attack, which has the advantage that we will not be damaged at all. Normally you get damaged when you attack. I'm not sure if a slinger would actually automatically do a ranged attack, but just to be safe it's best to select it. Okay, so we have this scout. Let's move. Oh, we can move through, and we can seriously regret moving through. Let's move back. We can't move back, so I'd much rather the barbarians attack the Egyptians than attacked our scout. On the whole, and this builder, as their last act, can build a quarry. So we've gained a boost towards craftsmanship, which is culture again. It's fantastic. And we now has improved that builder could make us, so I'm not going to worry too much about expanding again. Just let the city grow naturally, which it will. Who's this? Oh, Lisbon. Of course. The city we're hoping to become suzerain of. Alright, so the warrior's coming back. I'm going to chase that scout with my slinger, because there is a bonus to be gained from destroying them with the slinger specifically. Looks like there's a barbarian outpost up there, so not so keen to go that way. So I think I'll move the scout down here. Try and head towards the southwest, see what we can discover there. Right, I'm just going to move out here and fortify for now. I don't want to distract them from attacking Egypt. Much as I want to be friendly with Egypt, you know, they are still our opponents, and it doesn't do us any harm if they get injured. So close. So nearly there. Let's hope Lisbon don't take him down before we can. Okay, apparently the barbarians have bypassed the Egyptian city completely and decided to just attack us, which is actually really harsh. Okay, well, apparently we can win a major victory, so I guess we better attack, because there's no point letting them just sling us. So I wouldn't have done that by choice, but they haven't really given us a choice, sadly. Gain advanced knowledge in city planning. Ah, brilliant. Okay, that's because of our discovery of astrology. A horrible feeling that that Lisbon have taken down that barbarian scout for us, which normally I would appreciate, but I really wanted that bonus. Never mind. Well, at least we gained something from defeating those barbarians for Egypt. Okay, so we need some new research. So we gained a boost towards bronze working, which probably is worth having, actually. It will also give us our hoplites. I'm not sure we're going to have much use for them, to be honest, but it gives us encampment districts, which are quite worthwhile. Oh, thank goodness the Egyptians are doing some of the fighting. Grief. Oh! Oh, brilliant, they are still there. Okay. So we'll hopefully get a bonus from this. There we go, our knowledge of archery. And I am fond of archery. Okay, I'm going to move there and then tell them to fortify until healed. We may get followed, but at least this time they'll get injured when they attack us. So, not all bad. Now, looks like the Egyptians have taken them down. One thing that might be worth noting is that at the moment all of our borders are sort of jagged, not completely filled in. That will change later. In fact, it's enough of a concern that I'm thinking I should move my scouts so that they don't get trapped. Just move them there, and then we'll fortify until healed. You can form alliances to gain access through people's lands again, but yeah, as soon as we get to a certain level of technology, we're likely to find that just fortifying this time to wait for this settler. We're likely to find that we can't move through other people's lands anymore without specific permission. Okay, brilliant. So we gained a bonus for there. I'm going to send the slinger back to Athens because they're really intended to defend Athens. Okay, settler. Okay, something that does happen is a settler, a builder, units like that aren't combat units, and if an enemy moves onto them, they capture them. They basically join the enemy. So what you can do to prevent that is move them onto the same hexagon as a military unit, and then you choose this icon, create escort formation. And now the settler is being defended. Very important to do that, ideally at all times. You never know when an ally might suddenly turn on you. And we also are seeing the map in settler vision, which tells us where we can and can't settle. I think red we can't settle, grey isn't a great place to settle, it's a bit close to someone else, and green is an easy place to settle. And once again we've got these options here. However, I'm seriously thinking of going here. Can't move there, don't want to go there because of a coffee, but if we can move to here before their city grows any further. The warrior is with the settler, so we don't want to move them. Right, so we built a settler. It is past time we built a monument, although I do also want to build a holy site now. We could also build Stonehenge, which I think would almost replace a holy site, but would take much longer to build. It's a wonder of the world. They do give you some pretty good bonuses, but I'm not sure. Oh yeah, grants a free great profit. That is pretty good. What do we like for holy sites though? So you see some of the squares we get little bonuses for where they are near. So this one actually is a very good square to build it, as long as we never get rid of these woods. So yeah, let's do that. I'm not going to worry about Stonehenge, I'm just going to build a holy site. Barbarian scout, we can probably actually safely attack them because of our bonus against barbarians. So an actual scout we should be able to take down. We've also got a promotion which will help us heal. Okay, I'm going to to a coffee. Might be too late because we are quite badly injured. So we may have just lost a scout. Yep, there we go. My fault. Still can't be helped. It really is possible to get trapped when the borders become solid. Should promote this scout. I'm not sure where the Barbarian scout has gone to. Oh dear. So this is Cleopatra taking against us because we're not powerful enough. Which is unfortunate. It's one reason I got the delegation in quite early. She is unhappy with our lack of military might. Send the slinger up, see if we can take down that scout. Now, suddenly I'm less keen. I think I'm going to retreat to Athens. We may still have to fight them, but might as well do it within Athens. Okay, let's attack this scout again. Assuming it's the same one, it certainly seems to be damaged. It looks like there's someone else here. I don't know whether a player or a city-state. I suppose we will find out. Stockholm, it's another city-state. So they want us to destroy a barbarian outpost within 5 tiles. If they have one, then that should be easy enough to do. Remember, if we fulfill this, we gain an extra envoy. So it looks like someone else had already discovered Stockholm, so we didn't get a free envoy. But there'd still be a good one to be suzerain of. We're going to have a pretty good defence on our western flank if we can be suzerain of both of these. Plus it will help our culture as the Greeks. So, well worth doing. I'm going to fortify the slinger for now. Unless the barbarians actually show up. I'm going to promote this scout, so I'll give you woods and rainforest just for a change. But we're still going to want to heal a bit. And we've built our holy site, which has given us a boost towards a cultural advance again. So we now have a holy site. We can build a shrine which will give us more faith and extra great profit points, or we can build a monument or another settler, which we also desperately need. I'm going to build a shrine because if we can get our religion nice and early, we can get it well established, and the extra great profit point is worth having. Bronze working. Okay, that should help us militarily. So we have to choose another one. I think archery would be good. They have a greater range, so they're much better defence, and I'll be reasonably happy if we have a single archer in every city. So let's move up to archery. So great people did want to go into this. We've got a list here. So various buildings, generally districts, will give us bonuses towards gaining a great person, and it sort of tracks how close we are. It looks like no one's made any progress whatsoever yet. One that we only have at the start of the game is the Great Prophet, which allows us to found a religion. There are a limited number, so if you don't get a Great Prophet in time, you won't have a religion of your own. You'll have to make do with someone else's. You can have a sort of basic pantheon, I think, basic belief system, but you can't have a religion. We've already gained 1 point towards a great prophet, but I feel we should just accelerate this if we can, because we are going to want shrines to help defend ourselves. So it's worth building a shrine now while we're still gaining a great prophet, because they won't be needed later. Okay, as soon as we change culture, we'll probably also move our wildcard slot into gaining a great profit. But there are other types of great people. They're very worth having. Of course, we're primarily going to be interested in the cultural ones, which are these 3. But any would be useful. Okay, brilliant. But I am very concerned by a lack of cities. Yeah, this is telling us that we're attracting their attention. And specialised districts are the ways to do it. So the specialised districts are the ones that take their own hexagon up, like the Holy District, which we've made. Okay, so we can found a city. Cleopatra is not going to like it. It's also on the coast, which has given us a boost to sailing, which is great. But we really want to expand this way and claim the Galapagos as part of our city if possible. So I'm actually going to purchase some tiles. There we go. I think the city should be able to grow big enough to envelop it, or at least some of it, which should make this city a great tourist attraction later. So worth doing if you're going for culture victory. Okay, so I'm probably going to get into a habit now of first city will build an archer or a slinger. Whenever a city's founded, I'll probably build an archer first or a slinger or whatever the ranged unit I'm currently using is. Discovered another barbarian. Don't want to go anywhere near them if we can avoid it. So we should probably keep a warrior in place for now, although we are going to want to move them back when we build our next settler. Okay, so she's complaining that we've settled too close. I'm actually going to apologise and try to build my next cities further away, much further away. Who's this? Aha, Harald. So he's quite military and very much into his navies. Obviously, Viking. So unfortunately, he's probably not going to like us if we don't have a strong military either, or at least a strong navy, but I'm going to try to be friendly insofar as I possibly can. And we now have an option to choose a pantheon, so this is our proto-religion. Everyone gets one of these and you get certain bonuses. And they're often, limited. Some are better than others. Some depend on the resources you have. So what do we have here? So some of them are basically the kind of tiles we've got. Next to a river, well, we actually don't. Or some are just bonuses. So Monument to the Gods gives us a plus towards ancient and classical era wonders. Divine Spark is great person points. Now that would be good. Give us more writers, so that's something to bear in mind. Fishing boats, we're not that big on the sea. Pastures, possibly. +1 culture from pastures. Although, do they have to be cultivated to be a pasture? I think they do. So, I mean, we can make quite a few of them, so it's an option because it gives us culture, which is what we want. Stone circles, extra faith from quarries, so that could be worth having as well. We have quarries. More so than religious idols, craftsmen. Production from mines. Festivals, so these are the kinds of things we have. Not many of them. Not many of them either. That's military. Healing, not that useful. War again. Okay, so I think these are quite good in terms of growth. So this makes the city grow faster. This makes the city's borders expand faster, which is also another form of growth. And this one helps us create districts, our first district in every city, first specialty district. So the bottom 3 are always worth having for anybody. The only one I'm really seriously considering, I think, is probably this one. God of the Open Sky, extra culture from pastures, because culture is so useful, but I do wonder if one of these might be more handy. So I might go for border expansion. I think that would be useful. So let's take that one. And we'll found the Pantheon. So we're working towards a religion. If we get a great profit, we will have a full religion as well. But we have this from now on. And that has given us a boost to mysticism, which is another culture. Okay, so he has actually sent a delegation to us, which is great. We should send one back before he starts realising we're not very powerful, especially navally, and disliking us, which will probably happen. Okay, I thought we would have a wildcard slot for Great Profits, but apparently not. So, we've got a new production for naval units, and we've got a new gold from trade route. Neither are very useful. So keep as we are. I need to choose another civic. We have boosts towards 2 of them. Mysticism gives an envoy though, which would be good. And it also gives us... this gives us the wildcard options. So they would be good. Craftsmanship. Yeah, to be honest, I think mysticism has a lot to be said for it at the moment. Yes, of course. A little note there, it's just that we can make policy and government changes for free because we've just gained a new culture. That's all it's saying. So what I do want to do is send a delegation to Harald. He temporarily likes us. I doubt it will last, but it would not hurt us to try to get him on board if we can. I suspect he will start to dislike us because of our weak navy. Looks like we discovered archery, which is good. Sailing will be useful because we can start making improvements in our city on the coast. Make fishing boat type improvements. Horseback riding, less useful to us really. Watermill might be useful. Masonry, I do like having ancient walls, I have to say. But let's go with sailing for now. Let's go with improvements. And we've now reached the point where borders become solid. So we can no longer go into his city. Which is fair enough. Okay, so I think I will leave it there for now. So the main concern I've got is that we don't have enough settlers. We haven't settled enough cities. We need to keep an eye on this because almost wherever they settle, we can then protest and ask her to promise not to settle too close to us. We'll get an option for request to promise, which might stop her from doing it again. Ideally, we'd build another city here so that we're linking our cities together, but it's not actually required. It's more important with some of the DLCs because you can actually lose cities if they're in enemy territory. But that isn't an option, isn't a problem in the base game. But yeah, I would really like to build as many cities as possible around this area, even at the cost of culture early on. But we'll see. We will leave that for next time. We've made a halfway decent start, I think. Just not enough monuments, unfortunately, but at least we're on our way towards a new religion and we can tailor our religion to help our culture, if at all possible. So it will be worth doing. Okay, so normally I would check this screen at the end, but there isn't much to it really. It suggests who is currently leading in victories, but questionable at best at this stage, so we will deal with that later on. So I think I'll just leave it there. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.